various industries with their needs puts us amongst the many progressive and striving law firms in South Africa. Now, to contact our attorneys for assistance with any of the mentioned fields and others, please call us on 012-341-4187 or send us an email on admin@chabangu.co.za. MB Chabangu Incorporated, where problems meet solutions.
So welcome back. This is still Pan-African Morning News right here on Galaxy Universal Network. And of course, we are still bringing you more inspirational, motivational story right here on the Pan-African Morning News. And of course, we are joined by Khethiwe, Phakathi, to give us more confidence and just boost, your confidence out here.
But before we went on to the break, before we welcome Sis Khethiwe right here, you were saying something quite very important before going to the break. Yes.
When we were interviewing, Mambona, Linda, one thing that I really liked about what Mam Linda said, when we talked about the issue, or rather the story of Oprah Winfrey coming to, our country and building schools. Mam Khethiwe said, it's because Oprah has been profiled, but we do have women right here in the entire, Africa, and of course in South Africa, that are also helping other, young children out there,
doing great things.
Yeah, doing great things, of course. So I'd like to say, thank you so much for Umam Kobodo, for actually informing us that there are women that are not as profiled as Oprah that are doing very good things,
Yes.
And one of those women, of course, is one we are sitting with here right here on the green couch, Khethiwe as well, giving us, inspirational stories, informative stories, and giving women, especially young women, a confidence. Welcome, Khethiwe.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
what an introduction.
Yes. Good morning, madam. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. I feel like it's a Monday. Monday is my favorite day of the week, so I feel like today is Monday. That's how awesome I am.
You are fabulous, of course.
Thank you.
It's of course a Tuesday. You are bright and early, of course. You have you're putting on your African gear that you're always on. Please tell us about yourself. Who is Khethiwe?
So Phakathi, I am a purpose entrepreneur, but before that, I'm just an advocate for freedom. I'm an advocate for excitement. I'm an advocate for happiness. So as a purpose entrepreneur, I'm basically showing people that it's possible for you to live your purpose while making money out of it and having fun all at the same time, right? So in that area, I've got 3 businesses that are running. The oldest one is 8 years old, the training company. I'm also a confidence coach, Phakathi, #the voice of confidence. Don't you forget it. And I also have a natural hair salon. Hey now. Can you see? Yeah, and I'm in the process of launching a 4th business. So that's what I am. Have fun. None of these businesses are just there for the sake of money. They are all an extension of who I already am. I mean, the training one, I love going into people's minds, introducing concepts at foundation level and taking it from there to develop the people, The confidence coaching is basically the story of my life.
Yes.
I am Miss Confidence just from birth. So, it's just an extension of who I am, helping people with sessions and online courses. And the natural hair, well, that's a long story, but it's also an extension of who I am. I mean, when I was in high school, I remember telling my parents that I want to leave my hair natural. And they were saying, not here, not here. You're not going to walk around like that. So I said, as soon as I write my final matric paper, I'm going natural, because you guys are saying not here, and the rest is history.
You're actually the right person this morning, Sisanda. You just said that you're an advocate of happiness, of laughter, excitement.
Yes.
I actually feel it now. I can actually, get,
feel your energy.
Feel your energy, and that's what we need, especially, during this pandemic that we've been faced with. People are being going through depression, unemployment, is going on a rise, and people are just unemployed. So I can just imagine, that at home people are sitting there depressed. So we do need, Khethiwe, to give us some confidence and boost. So how would you boost someone's confidence and, hope, give somebody hope out there who's sitting and saying, this is COVID-19, there are no jobs, we are unemployed, and people are going through depression.
Yes.
What
have you been stalking me? Have you been watching things I do?
I even followed you this week on Instagram, So I have been stalking you.
Because I actually do have a 4-day program in the conference coaching business that's called From Employed to Unemployed Now What?
Yes.
It's not something I always had, I must admit. It was because of feedback that I was receiving from conference coaching clients as when the lockdown was fairly new. They were busy saying my concerns, I've lost work, I've been retrenched. And then based on that feedback, I compiled a 4-day program, right? So I'll just take from that to help people.
Yes.
So you just perhaps got retrenched or you've had a decline in your income. The first thing you need to think of is to find out what's the actual problem with this change.
Yes.
What's the actual problem with the change? Because usually then the clients will say answers such as, where am I going to get money for school fees? How am I going to pay for rent? Etc., etc. But nobody cites the problem as being, I have additional time. You now have time that you never had before, right? You had 8 hours that were supposed to go to work. Now you have an additional 8 hours. So what is that? That's actually freedom. Freedom for you to decide to now meet your dreams. What do I actually want to do? So if you were enjoying the job you were in, what about it were you enjoying? Let's say you were management in administration. What were you enjoying about that? Is it putting things in order? You now have an opportunity to exercise that skill in other areas. Because people look at employment or purpose as something separate of their lives as a whole. Now you have a chance to assess your life as a whole. Where do I want to apply these skills that I enjoy doing, or things that some people don't even know what they enjoy doing or what they're good at? Now you have the chance to do that.
Yes.
Right? So that's where I always say start. And then now somebody who's coming to me with the headspace that you just explained now, Palisa, of, oh, I'm so depressed, I don't know what to do. Yes, kids, I hear the purpose thing, but I'm feeling what now? The first thing you need to do is you need to attend to rewiring your mind. Your mind is used to creating the worst possible scenario. Now you're already in it, the worst possible scenario. Now you want to think of even worse than the worst. Your brain is used to that, right? So now it's your opportunity to retrain your brain to think, what's the best that could happen? And usually when I say that, people say, oh, but I'm going to sound crazy if I suddenly think, oh, what if I wake up and I've got so many dollars or rands in my account? Oh, what if I wake up and I do have an income? My kids, you sound crazy. But you already sound crazy when you're sitting there thinking, oh, now tomorrow we're going to die because I don't have income. Why are we comfortable thinking of the worst that can happen, but uncomfortable thinking of the best that can happen, right? But that's my job. That's where I come in when helping you with the online courses to realize the advantages and disadvantages of both sides of that coin.
Quite very much.
I'm actually listening now. I don't know what I'm going to ask question or like now you're actually inspiring me and putting confidence in me. So I'm actually listening to
yes. Quite very interesting. Now, you're focusing very much in terms of confidence, and we know that a lot of people, they believe they can't do specific things, not that because they cannot do it, simply because they are not confident enough to start. What do you say to a person who is afraid of starting something because they think they cannot do it?
Or even, Sisanda, what do you say to a person who's afraid of jumping out of an abusive relationship also, to say this person uyakuphela ongenzela izinto, or rather if I walk out of this relationship or marriage, I'm gonna be labeled now a divorcee, all the stigma. So what do you say to a woman going through that, especially jumping out of
so will you ladies allow me to answer both questions separately?
Yeah,
because I want to service them, right? I don't want to cheat you out of the information. So somebody who says, I'm not confident to do ABC, like Sisanda has said, what then? So I always say, for you to realize the freedom of the fact that confidence is something you already have, right? It's just a matter of meeting it or acknowledging it. I'll say to that person, what do you know? regarding this ABC thing that you want to do, that you want to embark on. Because at the end of the day, what you know equals to your level of practiced confidence. I'm saying practice because it's there, just not practiced, right? So what's the relationship there? If you saying, let me do it practically. So Sisanda, what's the one subject that you feel you know nothing about?
One subject.
Yeah, in one area.
Engineering.
Engineering, right? And then, now I'm saying, when it comes to engineering, look at what you do know, right? So you know nothing about it, but there are things you know about engineering. So what do you know about engineering? For example, you could know that people can qualify and become engineers. You could know that it's about problem solving. You could know that there's different areas of specialities within engineering. Take that information and act upon that. So when you get asked to go and deliver a talk about engineering and you feel you know nothing about engineering, just focus on what you do know. Then when you get there, what you'll speak about, you'll be confident in because you're just focusing on what you know. Ladies and gentlemen, engineering is a matter of what area you're specializing in. We've got electrical engineers, we've got civil engineers, we've got someone listening to you has no idea that there's actually 98% that you know nothing about. So what kills your confidence is you want to focus on what you don't know. And that's not what confidence is, right? So that's you apply that same principle to anything you want to do. I'm scared of starting that hair salon. What do you know about hair salon? What do you know about starting a hair salon? I'm scared of asking him out on a date. I'm scared of asking him to marry me. What do you know about that situation? You know he really likes you, etc. You know? So you do it that way. And then coming to your question.
Well, ask me, what do I know? You know, what subject? Okay, me nagegule subject. I want to focus on a relationship. Relationship.
You want to leave. You're saying somebody wants to leave a relationship, right? But now they're dependent on this person, etc. So, in that
or maybe
situation,
the person is not treating her right, or it can be different kinds of abuse. It can be emotional abuse, it can be verbal abuse, it can be psychological abuse. Kodwa nje mina kuma relationships sicela ukuthi yabona makhuluma ngale subject leyo. Nkosi yami futhi sengivele nje ngiwasha izandla.
Yeah, I've actually had I've actually had many clients, believe it or not, that come to me with relationship issues, from in-laws to the person I'm with to why I want to leave, etc. So when you come to me and you're saying, I want to leave, but I don't know how, the first thing I recognize there is you don't want to leave. Because when you want to bath, you bath, right? So then we explore, why are you saying you want to leave? Because chances are, once we explore that, you will realize, do you really want to or don't you want to? Then that's where we start from, right? But if the outcome of our assessment and coaching is that you do indeed want to leave, it's a matter of you realizing that you are not, the leaving is not for the other person. So it's now called going, because it's about you. Does it make sense? Because if I'm saying I'm leaving the hall, it's about the hall. But if I'm going somewhere, it's about me. Where am I going, right? So we'll get that during the coaching, but usually you realize that there's freedom in doing it for you. Because if you're still doing it for them, it's about them. When am I leaving them? How am I leaving them?
So basically you're saying you should do it for yourself, like your own. It should be, not because of her, of him.
Exactly. So that's why the first step is for us to assess, do you really want to leave or not, and why?
But then what if there are kids involved and you're like, you know what, the reason is because, I can't leave this person because of my family, I'm protecting my family, I don't want my kids to be without a father. How do you deal with such cases? Is it still now going back to it's about you, not about the kids or not about him?
Do you know that in most cases when people stay in relationships they don't want to stay in for the kids, it ends up harming the kids? So then we still go back to the same process of coaching. Do you really want to leave or not, and why? Because it's not for the kids actually. Because when you stay in a messy relationship for the kids, you're actually harming them in the long run.
But then tell me, is it possible that as a confidence coach, of course, that you are able to discuss or advise your clients into resolving issues in their relationship, other than just telling them, hi sisi balega ngenyawo zombili kurong la? Is it possible that you sit the woman down and say, you know what, this is what you need to do before umtshela ukuthi idla phansi mama kubi la?
I'm laughing at you two because you are actually making me take the work of a relationship coach. I'm not a relationship coach. That's what a relationship coach does. But what I do is I show you the role you played in making this relationship a relationship you want to leave. because you need to be honest with yourself in that, right? Because as a confidence coach, I'm an advocate for helping people become fully themselves, which means don't lie to yourself about who you are. So be realistic about your contribution to the mess that is this relationship. Once you are realistic about that and you accept yourself as you are, flaws and all, not try to dodge some of it, right? Then we have a look at what are your reasons for staying in this thing that you're saying you want to leave, right? Because I remember at the end of the day, Sisanda, we can give you reasons for leaving from A to Z. Everybody can see them, so can you. But if it's still coming from us, chances of you doing them are very slim. So it's just a process of making you aware of where you want to go and what you're actually doing that's helping you get there. So no, I will not tell people what to do. However, I will coach them in a way that reveals themselves to themselves so they can be confident about who they are, so that they can then decide what to do with that situation.
Now let's talk about confidence in ourselves now as women, you know. There's this notion where people always believe that you need to be yellow bone and, you know, and all that.
Why are you pointing at me, yellow bone?
Yeah, no, yellow bone.
Yellow bone?
Yeah.
I'm so yellow bone.
You know, you need to have this longest weave and everything else, and dress the hottest and the sexiest, and the, you know, the shorter your dress is, the more hotter you are for you to appear as being beautiful. Are we building a confidence of nakedness to prove that a woman can actually be beautiful? I'll make an example. If ever Palisa can actually publish a picture of her wearing a beautiful a long gown and stuff like that, you would see how many people would follow and like that. Let her wear a bikini, you know, be posing at the beach with almost everything showing. You will see the crowd behind that. What are we saying
let
about?
me take off my wig and sit at home, and then it will just passing. Okay. So we created that poverty mentality, and you know, what is it called? Not poverty mentality. I want to say, let me create
The
this
fake
cosmetic
look,
poverty look to make people think that I should palisa ziyakipa. You know.
So confidence has nothing to do with other people's opinion of you. That's why we find ourselves in confidence ICU, because we think that confidence is a matter of what other people say. Now you find yourself sick because people are not saying what you want them to say today. It's a problem, so I can't be confident. It's a mess. Because your confidence is based on what we're going to say about you. And once you've discovered true confidence, you realize that it actually has nothing to do with what we are going to say. Because when you are being, when you are doing, it's about you. So when you are wearing that bikini, it's about you, whether you post it or not. But now once you want to post it just so that we give you the validation you want to, then it's not confidence. That's actually a signal of you being in a hospital due to lack of confidence, right? But if you're posting it, because it might happen on another day that you do post that bikini picture, you still get 2 likes. And you're still the happiest person in the world because your confidence is about you. It's not about our reaction to you being you, right? Let me show you a simple definition of confidence, right? Because I say confidence is the ability to be fully yourself anywhere, everywhere, all the time and anytime. But some people might need an example. So let's say you are in a management position at work. If you are in a management position at work and it's about us, that means you have the job of, on top of being a manager, you have the job of making us feel that you're the manager. You have the job of making us see that you're the manager. You have the job of us knowing that you're the manager. You know, like an arrogance coat. Like you must feel, you must know, you must see, you know? That's an additional job. But if you are confident and you're a manager at work, it has nothing to do with us seeing, knowing, feeling anything.
Yes, you're not going to be threatened
a manager.
You know, by any young people coming in, you know, workspace, and you know, because you know you have those managers where it in labo 2000, and then you as a manager you'd want to, you know, take over bobonisa labantwana ukuthi hey mina ngiphethe la
yimi boss
yimi ubasi la. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Whereas
uzobatshela ukuthi bagcoke njani, bayenze njani, bakaminwele njani.
Yeah, whereas with confidence it comes with such ease. You just are a manager. You know that you're competent, you excel, you're good at leadership. There's no additional job of making us anything. So it's not about us. So confidence is a you matter. So even when it comes to your competence, let's say you feel you've aced this task, right? And then you get feedback from your leader that says, nah, this is a 3 out of 10. You will not see that as offensive or, oh, they're jealous because, you know, no. Instead, you will take that score of 3 out of 10 for something that you thought, remember, was a 10 out of 10, and go take that feedback and see how to apply it to do better next time. That's all it is. It's freedom. It's ease.
I love that. Confidence is freedom. You know, so be free within yourself.
Now
let's
let's go into the. I know you did speak about how beauty or should not be validated by anybody for you to know that this is who I am and whatsoever. But now let's look at the reality of the society right now. That the society perceive, or actually we look into what the society sees, and then we perceive those things to be the correct way of doing things, of course. So now people like myself, maybe, and you that grew up in societies where dark-skinned people are obviously viewed as you are not beautiful, go sit down and whatever. And until this day, there are still people that still believe that, you know what, I need to bleach my face, I need to look different so that when I put my hand on my face, you're like, how, Susanda, whose hand is that on your face? You know? So what is it that we need to say or do to people to give them that confidence to know that, you know what, you are beautiful, however you might come out. You might be black, you might be gray, you might be pitch black like Sisanda, or whatever else color that you might come out in, you are still beautiful.
Whatever else color you might come out in.
Yeah.
You're making me laugh. So with the way you look being translated to your beauty level, that's not something we can change. So let's look at like what you're asking, right? You're asking, how do we change the person who's hearing that you are not beautiful's mind? Because we can't change the people that say you are not beautiful, of course, right? Because I mean, we perceive what we perceive. I think that's pretty. I don't think that's pretty. You can't change me. So what are we doing to you? Receiving that. That's what Sisanda is asking. So it's a matter of, let's take away your focus from your appearance. You know, there's a common phrase that says beauty is on the inside.
Yes.
Is that common, or am I making it up?
No, you're not.
Beautiful
it's
on the
true,
inside. It exists, right? So let's focus on that, in the sense that I always ask people this, and it takes a while for some people to figure it out, but maybe you have it off the top of your head, is if you were to die today, what would Earth as a planet lose? Nice. Because if you know the answer to that, right? Don't tell me my mom would lose a child, my child would lose their parent. No. I'm talking about greater, the whole planet of Earth. What would Earth lose if you died today? Because there's no duplication of you. Even if you guys went to the same class, the same school, you both have presenting and production jobs for international channels, there's still no duplication of you. So that answer of what would the planet lose when you are gone, that there's no duplication of, is your beauty. Because once you acknowledge that and flourish in that, when we look at you, we see energy. Have you had a situation where when you looked at someone, you thought they are not beautiful, right? Because we perceive what we perceive. And then after a while, once you get familiar with their energy, it's not that their face changes, guys. It doesn't suddenly become what you think is beautiful, but you suddenly think they are stunning when you look at them. It's because of their energy. So, because energy doesn't lie. So once you flourish in who you know you are, with or without this face, with or without this outfit, I know that I'm on earth to speak life. I know why I'm here. So when I die, I can't say if I die because we're all gonna die. So when I die, when I'm a great-grandmother,
awesome.
Earth is gonna miss out on Makhethi speaking life the way I do. There will be other people speaking life, but not the way Makhethi does it, right? So if I live in the fullness of that, I'm beautiful to you. Whether you think my face appears beautiful or not, my energy is just like, you know. So Yeah, Sisanda, you answered.
Yes, I'm answered. I'm still, I'm still, wanting you to give me more on that, because as I said earlier, that the problem is the society at the end of the day. You find these young people, and nowadays it's easy for us, for me and you as matured women to sit and say, listen, don't focus on that, focus on that. But now for a young person who still can't really grasp some part of information that needs to be stored in your brain to be able to understand the importance of overlooking some of the things and just focusing straightforward into the actual story behind their beauty. If I tell you, what, Maketano, come on, you are beautiful. Not everybody. I think it takes special people. Right now I don't want to sound like me type of thing, but I grew up as one of those kids in my village where I had this big voice. They used to even call me Barry White.
Yes.
I have this big voice, and I almost look like a guy. If they would say, and I'm dark and stuff. I was actually one of the most ugliest girls if the society, as far as the society was concerned.
Yeah.
But tell you what, I was the one winning all the beauty contests in the space,
yes,
because
now.
I told myself. So now I've been trying, so I'm thinking you'll be able to help. I've been trying to transfer that to other people, to say, no, man, believe in yourself. I mean, try, but maybe because I'm not really a confidence coach in that manner, I'm not really able to translate the message that was instilled in my head before. Because if my mama would tell me, Sisanda, you are beautiful, I didn't care who else tell me otherwise, because I believe that, every time, and my mom would look and say, that thing, and I'm like, but even though a lot of people would even and call you whatever, so how do a young person try to take those messages in their hearts? Because even the media right now is playing a very, very big role in portraying beauty as being your kanyimba, or your mshoza, your bonang. If you want to be beautiful, that's the picture that we see. We see young people wanting, they aspire to be like those people. So now you have this dark-skinned girl who actually sees that, no, I don't think beauty needs to be like how I look. How do we help those people?
Okay, so if you're a parent, first of all, before I answer, if you're a parent of such a child, do get in touch with me, because that needs thorough coaching, right? Because I need to coach them to no longer own what society is saying to them, right? I do have online courses that deal with that. One of them is called Where Are You Hiding, right? Where you discover that you're actually hiding in society's opinion, you're hiding in what society approves, among other things, right? So do get in touch with me if you're a parent with such a child.
Yes.
But to answer that, because I understand now what you're saying, that the answer I gave, even though it's effective, it doesn't help that young person there now who's like, yeah, I hear this inner thing, Khethiwe, I must flourish in it, but wait. But people are saying, I'm not beautiful, they don't see it, right? So here's a challenge. I'll just throw a challenge at that person. You start announcing your looks as beautiful. So find other people that you feel are what society in your neighborhood, right? Because now we're doing it practically for that girl. In your neighborhood, you're not the only one who's perceived as not beautiful because you are a certain height, a certain skin color with certain kind of hair. Collect them.
Weight as well.
Weight as well. Oh, don't tell me about weight. I grew up having all sorts of names because, one of them was Mystique. Yeah, that was one of the names I had. And Daddy Long Legs, because being tall as a girl was not a cool thing. So collect people that don't fit into your local society mold. And then you guys start defining that this is beautiful. And even maybe on a limb, guys, give it a different name from beautiful.
Exactly.
Because remember, beautiful, we already give it those connotations that society has given it. So you give it another term that's exciting. Like, we look... I don't know. I can't think. We look colorful. We look colorful. We look colorful.
You're happy.
We look happy. Give it another name that means you look.
Now tell me, how do you differentiate or draw a line between being arrogant and being confident?
My favorite question. So I get that a lot. People come to me and they say, "My Katie, being a confidence coach, that's very out there. How do you tread the line of not falling into
Yes.
arrogance.
Yes.
First question I usually ask in response to that question is, do you think I'm arrogant? That's the first question I ask. And usually the answer I get is no, I don't think you're arrogant at all. And I say, imagine now, if a confidence coach is not arrogant,
Yes.
can you see now that arrogance and confidence are actually not related, guys? So let me share some freedom here with you, Africa. The problem is that we have been taught that there is a thin line between arrogance and confidence. You can be so confident that it becomes so strong that it becomes arrogance flavor. That's what we've been taught. But the freedom is, that is far from the truth. Confidence and arrogance are actually galaxies apart. There's no thin line, galaxies apart. Let me show you what I mean. With confidence, you just are, right? Like we said with the whole boss example. You're not trying to prove anything to anyone. But with arrogance, it's an ego thing. With arrogance, it's your ego saying they must know, they must see, they must feel. Right now, I'm not sitting here for you to feel, see, know anything, or for the viewers. I'm just being. So that's the difference. So once you know that you've got that additional job of making us believe that you are what you say you are, then you know you're being arrogant. Because with arrogance, it's something you can take with you at any level. So even if you are at grade 1 of an industry, entry level of an industry, or you're at master level of an industry or an area, you have the job of arrogance. But if you're confident, you are confident, you are happy to say, guys, I'm at entry level of this industry. You're happy about that. You're excited. You are making the most of it. You're not walking around trying to make us feel anything. I'm happy to be the guy that holds the mic. I've made it into studio work. I'm happy to be here. You know.
Now tell me, people at the workspaces, of course, you probably want to be confident enough, maybe in your workspace, in your academia, wherever departments where you are in a professional space. You want to show that you know what you know, without, of course, looking or seeming to be arrogant to other people and stuff. How do you manage your confidence in your workspace, in maybe your business, in whatever, to say, without what you mentioned earlier, to say you don't want to look like you are in somebody's face, you know, I know what I'm doing. I'll just make an example. Let's say a person cleaning the office, for an example, she needs to take these things off here and whatever. And maybe there's Sasanda sitting there and she would always want to make her feel otherwise. And she would probably say, you know what, I know I do this at my own time. I maybe clean these tables at 11 o'clock. So I'm not going to be coming there and being told by Sasanda when to clean these tables, because I know when to clean my tables. You know what I'm saying? So, but without sounding arrogant, to say, you know, Park Sasanda, I do these things at my own time. You know what I'm saying? Not that I was not going to do it. I was going to do it, but I do it at a certain time. How do I manage my confidence around my workspace without, you know, stepping on other people's feet?
And also, just to add on that, you know, in the workspace as well, you do have, you know, all these, when you have to go to interviews, you know, you have to look the certain way, or, you know, put your straight weave on and your suit. Why can't I just go, you know, on an interview and be confident enough to wear my African attire as well? You know what I mean? Like, how do you deal with it? To say, maybe if I'm wearing an African attire, you know, to a workspace, they're not going to take me serious. You know, how do you...
They start asking me, what's the occasion?
What's the occasion? You know what I mean? Say when you go to an interview with that type of a hair, then they might think, oh, this one, you know, she won't be formal enough, you know, or look formal enough. How do you deal with such cases?
Okay, so to answer the first part of, actually, let's start with the second part of the question. Sorry, Sisandane, we're coming to you with the first part.
Yes.
Let's answer the second part. So if you go to an interview, it's okay to call before the interview and ask the receptionist what's the usual acceptable appearance method or whatever, just so that you get there and it's visible that you're somebody that follows the set rules, whether you agree with them or not.
Yes.
Because remember, you do have the choice to decide, I'm not going to an interview there. They want me in a suit. No way, I'm not going. You do have that choice, right? So just call beforehand and ask what's acceptable. If you want to show a touch of your flair, perhaps, and the receptionist says people must come formal or whatever, etc., you can have a touch of your flair within the formal attire. Nothing's stopping you from that, you know, whether it's a patch here of color or maybe floral something, you know, I'm making stuff up now, or maybe just instead of appearing in a black suit, you come in a red suit like Sisanda. It's still suited, still formal, but
She
you
had to
still,
say like Sisanda,
you know,
red
you're still
suit.
adding your flair, you know, so do that. But do remember that when going to an interview, right? Now this is me coaching somebody who's going to an interview.
Yes.
When going to an interview.
Or an audition.
Or an audition.
Yeah.
Every time I ask people, why are you going to that interview? They tell me, so that the people there can screen me and see if I fit what they want, and then they'll select, and, you know, great. That's actually why that person is conducting the interview. I'm asking you, why are you going to the interview? So the answer is, you must have your own reason for going to that interview. It must have nothing to do with being screened, etc., etc. So you set your mandate. The reason I'm going to this interview is because I want whoever is in that room to know that when they want a training facilitator, they look nowhere else except here. I'm going to that room so that those people know that when it comes to learning and development design, they go nowhere else but here. You see, it has nothing to do with are they screening, are they looking, that's their business. So that's your step one when you're going to an interview, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you want to say something?
In closing, how do I, maybe as a parent, be able to raise my children to be confident as they grow in whatever that they do? Or how do I raise a confident woman or a confident young man as they grow up to know, would see, this is me? So what's the role of a parent in instilling confidence in their children's life?
I think the role of a parent is a very difficult one, because some parents are even fighting me about this, but I really think that we should try by all means as people parenting that we do not force the kids into a mold that we have been forced into, right? For example, your child wants to put the lounge mat upside down during playtime or whatever, right? The way in which you approach that can affect their confidence. So instead of saying, no, we don't do that, you let the mat sit upside down for a while. Then you ask the child how, even if it's a 4-year-old or 3-year-old, because I speak to even 1-month-olds, like they hear us, I don't know what baby talk is. Then ask the 3 or 4-year-old, why is the mat now upside down? Because it belongs the other way around. No, I wanted to try what. Okay, are you okay now to put it that way around? Great. Because they are exploring, they're experimenting, because it's with those little things that you get them used to. Oh, we don't do this in life. Oh, on earth, we don't act like this. So that by the time they become a 6-year-old, they are adjusting to how earth is run. And remember, how earth is run is something we agreed upon, so it's changeable. So allow them to explore, to ask. Ask kids. Do you know how much you can find out if you decide to ask children instead of just saying, don't?
Anyway, Makhethi, we have had a very, very great one with you. Unfortunately, we have come to an end. But the good part is Makhethi is going to be here every Monday.
Yeah.
Every Monday she's going to be here with us, giving us this confidence, you know. So we are going to now start looking from topic to topic so that we are able to explore all of them. But thank you so much for giving us this very insightful morning. It's already revived me. Right now, when I come out here, my walk will be different. I'm telling you.
Watch me, you know. So to all our viewers, they can send us all the messages, you know, that they want to ask Makhethi, because like Sisanda said, every Monday, Makhethi will be joining us right here on the Pan-African Morning News Monday, only on Mondays, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so make sure that
every
you don't miss, you know, our
She said Mondays are her favorite days.
Makhethi Mondays.
Makhethi Mondays.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Makhethi, for joining us. So we are now going to take a very short break. When we're coming back, we've got more news and updates for you right here on Pan-African Morning. Do stay with us.
Walila umntwana alilela umamake wamthatha wambeka esifubeni sakhe wathi thula sana lwam wathi thula sana lwam Hello, Dumilang, Sanbonani, Absheng. My name is Mariki Bothma, Ntomza Mazulu, Zindli Ntomza KZN, all the way from KZN, but currently here in Midrand, Joburg, at Galaxy Universal Network, Starsat Channel 500, and on our Facebook page, Galaxy Universal Network. Welcome to a brand new show called Scars. We all have a history. You may be the victim, yet you are alive. You are the survivor. You are the overcomer. You are the conqueror of your past and of your pains. The show is all about you sharing your stories, you sharing your life experiences. We're going to show people out there whether you've been abused mentally, physically, emotionally. We have all been affected by abuse. The show will consist of from bullet survivors to cancer survivors to people living with disabilities to ex-convicts. No story will be too big or too small to be shared on this platform. Do join us every Saturday, 11 to 12, right here on Galaxy Universal Network. But we also do have a few surprises for you in store. Every Saturday, 11 to 12, Galaxy Universal Network. Walala wasala. See you there.
Feel the heat. Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with Starsat.
Welcome back again. If you have just joined us, we welcome you and we hope that you are still fired up with Makhethi's confidence in there. And as we're going on with the last segment of our show, we are now in our studios moving in with in the morning. We are joined now by Dr. Lehlohonolo Mambona, who is a business transformation consultant. Of course, Doctor, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And please do tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. You've got such a very huge profile. I don't even know where to start. So I think it's best if you actually give it yourself.
Sure. I started as a marketer many years ago, working for an FMCG company. And then later on, obviously, I joined the national broadcaster, also working in the commercial enterprises environment.
Yes.
So I've got immense, experience in that. I'm a chartered marketer. And also I did an MBA in marketing. So with the national broadcaster, I was also handling their 35 brands.
Yes.
So creating innovations and all those sort of things.
Yes.
But now of recent, I'm focusing really on business transformation and economic transformation, and also focusing on what we call financialization, because we know that the world today is driven by debt. Debt, it's fine, but when it's saturated within the economic, system, it becomes problematic, So I'm the person who actually devises some framework and systems of how to deal with a debt-saturated environment. For instance, in South Africa, now recently, I think we've won another debt sort of,
4+ billion.
Yeah. One is to ask yourself that, truly speaking, for how long are we going to be victims of financial expropriation.
Yes.
Because the most important thing, it's a government who's able to balance the two, revenue optimization and debt minimization. So it's important for the government to have a clear-cut strategy how to maximize their revenue. So, okay, which economic entities can you use? You've got your SARB, you've got your National Treasury, you've got your SARS. Those are the key engines of power that you need to assemble in making sure that you devise strategies of maximizing revenue that will come to the country. Forget about running, to the investment environment seeking debt. That won't help. Because right now, if you also don't have a strategy of how to minimize debt, you'll always go back to them. I'll give you an example. In a debt, you have your capital responsibility that you need to pay. You have your interest. So each one of them requires a different strategy. One would say to the government right now, show me your interest reduction strategy. Show me your capital reduction strategy. Show me your revenue maximization strategy. And if those things are absent, you can be readily assured that the government will always be indebted in this endemic systemic debt. Because at the end of the day, they don't have the ability of understanding in terms of financialization theory. What is it that they need to do? For them, this is the quickest route of getting out of problems. Yet people, the next generations, will always be suffocated by this challenge of debt. So I devise clear-cut means, because I'm using this as a practical example, one who was saturated in many massive millions of debts.
Yes.
But that taught me, in fact, that actually even made me to go and seek a doctorate in financialization, in business finances and all those sort of things. Because I wanted to understand how the banking system, how the global financial system was working.
Yes.
Because I had an institutional debt which was massive in millions. I had private debt. But I sat down and taught myself how to do those. So those principles can also be applied when you deal with sovereign debt, when you deal with individual debt. For instance, now, the debt, as you know, probably is about 3 point something trillion. But it's not going to be reduced unless you have a clear-cut plan as to how you can actually minimize that. So I'm the one who can actually provide solutions, provide systems, given the practical experience that I've accumulated over the years of how to deal with that, not theoretically, but practically, making sure that progressively your debt can be reduced.
We need that gap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can take it down to, sorry there, Susan, I can take it down to even like buying a simple thing, or rather not even a simple thing, like a car, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
When you go to a car dealership, this is the price of a car, but then if you take, finance, people are not aware that, it's even more expensive when you take it, through finance, because now you're not only paying for the price of a car, but you're also now paying, the interest. But then how can people, not go into debt so much? What would you advise, the people to say, yes, you do need finance, but then these are the implications, that you're going to be dealing with after?
Look, the easiest way is to downgrade your lifestyle, which you are afraid of doing that. I'm sorry, I have to speak about my experience, because that's what I did.
Yes.
Having lost all the revenues that I had, in business and everything, and all the things that gave me revenue, I said to myself, reality. I'm stuck with reality. What do you have to do, Gap? I said, no, you have to downgrade. Move away from Saxon World. Go back to Soweto, to phase 3. Go and sit there, because the bills are low, that house you don't owe it, and all those sort of things. Downgrade all the 4x4s that you once had, all those things. You have to be practical. It starts inside your bedroom with your partner to say, you know, these other communities have learned a lot. When they fall, immediately they downgrade everything. But in 3 years, they are back where they were because they are realistic with the situation that they are facing. So it's no use trying to pay high interest rates, high capital for cars that you cannot afford. You just have to level your expenses and face the lifestyle that you are now exposed to, and be realistic. If you once shopped at these high-end, you know, supermarkets, there are other low-end supermarkets that you need to go to. If people laugh. I was laughed all over the place. I lost everything. You know, I lost family, I lost everything. But I told myself, I'm going to rise. I'm going to restore myself. I'm going to learn about this thing. I'm going to get a PhD. I'm going to teach in this thing, and I'm going to apply this thing. So you have to be realistic. Do not live an unauthentic life.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
We fake it, but we don't make it. You know, we are not really with ourselves. So be real. And
Yes.
and what's the use of?
Yeah.
You know,
maybe sorry about that, because
Yeah.
I'm also just quite very worried about time.
Yeah,
And
sure,
there's quite very important question I need to ask you.
Yes.
That you were with the public broadcaster.
Yes.
With all this knowledge and the information that you have, how come did the SABC still goes bankrupt with people like yourselves on board?
No, not when we were there. Not when we were there. No, not when we were there. Yes, there was a struggle. But at the end of the day, not to this extent, you know. For instance, when we were there, really, there was a fair, rational revenue maximization on all sides. Because I left there in 2011, and the situation was far different from what it is right now at the end of the day. But let me give you a quick analysis of the public broadcaster. The public broadcaster, to be honest, does not need to be there. Because where it is managing unnecessary expenditure. In a digital world that we are living in the media world, you don't need 40th floor. You don't need huge buildings, because everything is now can be used either by radio or by television. There's multi-purposed digital instruments that you can use. So you don't need capacity of property, because what do you do with that capacity? Yeah. So that's the first thing that you need to do. Where are the big numbers in maintaining this mega corporation? So you go to those big numbers and you say, what? We don't need this, we need this. So, for instance, you'll find that the national broadcaster only needs a small place from which it can actually operate to make sure that it becomes realistic with the expenditure that it must incur. Because that building was built when there was a state corporation which was mandated to offer multiple of media platforms. And things have changed. The paradigm was in the 40s. But truly, those needs are no longer necessary. The assets that now they are maintaining, they have to maintain, are no longer necessary because things have changed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another area of my focus, obviously, is to say, how can we help with the transformation of the economy? Yes. The economy is over-congested in key strategic areas. What is it can we do to make sure that there are more players? I'll give you an example. There are areas that we can actually identify. For instance, in mining, where we say people can be given licenses to go and secure the raw material, process it, beneficiate it, and localize it. In other words, look for markets inside the country and look for markets outside the country. That you can do for agriculture, you can do for mining. The extraction of raw materials can now be given to independent entities who must play in that space. Because transformation which is located within BEE, it's not transformation. It's the sustenance and the maintenance of the status quo. If you talk about ESD, you are not transforming. BEE, we are not transforming, we are maintaining. So you need to fundamentally change by showing a planned implementation strategy. What is it that you are talking about?
Yes, while we are still on that, I mean, every year we see world leaders attending the World Economic Forum in Davos. Every year.
Yes.
A lot of money is being spent and stuff like that. Is that even necessary?
Let me tell you, that is not about transforming the global economy. That is about entrenching the status quo. So that, and then I'll give an example. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say this. In Africa, if you look at the dollar billionaires, African, you only find them in places like Nigeria, like Kenya, blah, blah, blah. In South Africa, you've got only $1 billionaire after 25 years. Why is it so? Why is it so? And the rest, $1 billion billionaires in South Africa are all whites. It is because you have this instrument that is called BEE that does not flatten the environment and explode the environment. You know, I always say you need a central bank which will always be worried because the economy is red hot. You know, when the economy is red hot, the central bank must intervene and make sure that it's cooling down. Now in South Africa, they've been, I think, sleeping. Because they are not challenged.
Yeah.
There's no activity.
Talking about South Africa sleeping there, Doc, we recently acquired more than $4 billion that were being borrowed by the IMF.
Yes.
Obviously, South Africa is sinking. Do you really think it's a good idea that we have all these millions? I mean, we just blown 500 billion rand, so we need more money. Yeah.
Look, when you give people such a lot of money who are not showing an inclination and demonstrating the ability of using what they have, we have massive opportunities in terms of resources. We have resources in PIC, we have resources all over the place that we can manage and make sure that we don't get debt outside the country. So we don't need this debt that we are going to acquire, because at the end of the day, unless, you see, if this debt was coming, but it's managed differently. I'll give an example. You involve the Auditor General, you involve the National Treasury. You say to them, control the deployment of these resources. I can tell you now, those resources can be used effectively. But for me, a government that has not mastered the art of creating revenue, it's not in the game yet, because it is always a victim of financial expropriation by the Machiavellian systems of financial institutions, financial elites, and the global economic system. Africa as a continent does not need the dirt that it has. Yes, debt, you need it just to make sure that there's activity in the economy, but not to the extent that Africa has got its debt or is indebted.
A lot of young people nowadays, they obviously maybe find themselves in these debts that Palisa was talking about earlier, you know, having to get this and get that and keep the status quo, of course. What is it, or what books can these young people read, or who could they listen to? Because sometimes we listen to wrong people. I started listening to Professor Lumumba. I'm addicted to that guy. I just can't stop listening to him. So who and what can young people, you know, put their focus on in order to align their lifestyle financially?
I always call it, you know, cosmetic poverty that we actually, you know, get dragged into, you know, because we want to look also like we've made it, we've come out, you know, but then at the end of the day, we end up, you know, being in debt. And, you know, with our celebrities these days, that's why they end up writing about them to say, hey, now she's down and out and all. How can they avoid such debt?
You know, I think it's time we look at the mirror as African and say, truly speaking, we are not in control. We don't have our own global agenda in terms of how do we ensure that we become economically independent. There is no powerful, good role models. They are not enough so that these youth can actually follow and imitate, because all of us, we are in a situation that we are eager to demonstrate that we have succeeded, yet in the true sense of that word, we haven't. For as long as we don't control the economic assets of a country, we are not in control. We can, you know, the media can exhibit a false lifestyle that is not real. Until we control the assets, we produce our own cars, we produce our own clothes, we produce our, you know, we produce everything as Africans, definitely, and be proud of what we are actually doing. Then we shall say we are in control of our own destiny. Right now, we are following those that are determining the agenda of how we should live. So that's what I can say to the youngsters. Please make sure that you are original in your thoughts. Create original products, innovations. Get into business. Don't do the mistakes of the past, whereby, and I'm sorry to say this, we've got people who've got so much experience sitting on 10, 15 boards. I'm saying those are the people who should be setting up independent establishment or independent enterprises. It's no use to say, you know what, I have a staff of 36,000. But hell what? That you should be doing in a company that is owned by us. Your experience in those many boards, you need to take those experiences and come and use them here to set up businesses that are going to have a voice, that are going to create an employment. Our life, I'm sorry, we are not in control. And as long as we are not in control, we will always create this false impression that we have arrived, and we haven't. So this is what our youth should learn.
Oh, Doc, I'm hoping that we would have had more time with you, but we definitely should invite you back on the green couch so that we can speak a lot to young people. This is a very, very important point. But thank you so much for joining us. We have definitely run out of time. Without taking much of your time, we hope that you did enjoy your time with us. Let's go through the headlines and look into the stories that we have given you today. The presidential spokesperson, Kusela Diko, takes leaves of absence amidst the tender row, and the former police minister, Nathi Nhleko, has defended his decision to hire Leon Mbangwa, who was allegedly an illegal immigrant. And the city of Tshwane has ordered an urgent interdict against workers affiliated with the South African Municipal Workers Union. Malawian health experts call for more resources into COVID-19. And also we were having on our couch, on our green couch, we had Khethiwe, Phakathi, and also we are now also well joined by Dr. Lehlohonolo Mambona on the green couch. These are most of the stories that we have had for you today. And please do not go away, as at 9:30, Violet Mokwela will be here with our Morning Express. And soon after that, we are having, our Xhosa Nguni News being presented by Zola Kasholwana. And soon after that, Palisa and Rorosang will be here with Midday Express. And when we come out of that, we've got Mahungu wa Chitonga with Kurula at 1 o'clock. And immediately after that, we do have Social Trends at 2 o'clock with Katleho Mukapanyana with with Zola Kasholwana. And later on, we are having Swahili News at 3 o'clock. And soon after that, we do have, of course, it's a Tuesday today. We've got Tech Talk at 4 o'clock to 4:30. And soon after that, Audrey Chimwanda will be here with you, giving you a Galaxy Prime and looking into Africa as a whole, as well as later on, of course, our production and our programming is continuing. Thank you so much for joining us. From myself and the rest of our Pan-African morning team, wish you all the best and a beautiful and productive day. Ikamalami Gengusandu Nomosa Wakwabi Kuto, Intobazania Pansi Wamklabi Lingano Fulang Puzang Puzukele Inkomo zakithi ngayishiya zila phansi emahlathini asekubandeni kanti ke zona ziphuze ebhulweni umfulo ohamba ngeslow motion ngiyangithola ngithi kwesikwazi biskot la ngibuya khona ayiphinde futhi bonane kusasa same time same place right here on Pan African Morning. Palisa,
and as we are on that, we just like to say that Galaxy Universal Network is the only network that's got Swahili news, so keep supporting us. And of course, all those who are from who speak Swahili, keep watching us. From me, Palisa Mujuminyani, Giroba Roba Takula Takamasidian Pillars in Diaroba, Diaseli, Nani Bagatwala, Nitin Yabonga, in Conto Dumanjang Tulum Yang Ovala Valanga Makanza Mazota. From me, Palisa Mujuminyani, Kirisalang Sink.
Bye.
Can I